Let n and a be any two whole numbers. Then the product of n and a, which we write n times a, is defined to be a plus a plus a plus a plus a, basically in terms of a being added together. The numbers being multiplied, the n and the a, are the factors of the product. Okay, so let's rewrite each of these expressions as a product of two whole numbers. And for this, it's just a matter of counting. I have 3's and I have 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. So this is really 4 times 3. For part B, I'm adding a bunch of 6's. And if I count, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them. So this is 8 times 6. And for part C, I have 1, 2, 6 of them. So part C would be 6 times 8. Now when it comes to writing products, there are a lot of ways that are all correct. The obvious one, the times symbol, it looks like a big X. But parentheses also works, 7 times 3. It can also be written as parentheses 7, parentheses 3 would also work. The dot also works, 7 times 3. Doesn't work as well in algebra or when you're dealing with decimal numbers, since the decimal point and the dot can be confusing. But there's a lot of ways to write multiplication. All right, so let's go over a couple of the properties. First, the commutative property. If you recall, the commutative property of addition is that a plus b is equal to b plus a, and that the order of the addition doesn't matter. That holds true with multiplication as well. The product of two whole numbers does not depend on their order. So 3 times 4 is 4 times 3, a times b is b times a, or with the previous example, 8 times 6 will give you the same thing as 6 times 8. The associative property of multiplication is that if you're multiplying 3 or more things together, it doesn't really matter how the factors are grouped. So 3 times 2 times 8, you can do the 3 times 2 first, or you can do the 2 times 8 first. You get the same answer either way. The multiplicative identity property, well, with multiplication, if you multiply by 1, you're not changing anything. So 7 times 1 is 7, 1 times 7 is 7, a times 1 is a, 1 times a is a. There's also the multiplication by 0 property, and that is the product of 0 and any whole number is 0. So 7 times 0 is 0, 6 times 0 is 0, 0 times 0 is 0. In general, a times 0 is 0, and 0 times a is 0. All right, so let's use the given properties to complete each equation. So the commutative property is that the order does not matter. So y times 8 is the same thing as 8 times y. The associative property is that the grouping doesn't matter. So here I have 6 times 2, the 2 times w is being grouped, but I can go 6 times 2 first, and then times w. The multiplicative identity is that multiplying by 1 does not change anything. So 1 times t is just t. And the 0 multiplicative property, 0 times anything is 0.